Hi, everybody. Welcome to Touching Eternity, the podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Touching Eternity, the podcast. If you see us on TikTok, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, tap on little hearts, do all those wonderful things to get the podcast promoted, get more people involved in seeing it. We talked a lot about the major arcana in Tarot. And we went through the Fool's Journey. We covered all the cards. We covered the symbology. I want to talk a little bit about the colors in tarot. So on Wednesday night, we went over the symbology. We went over the major arcana. We went over the planetary connections. We went over the numerology in tarot. But the reason why I do like Rider-Waite are the colors. And so I'm going to go a little bit over a lot of the colors that are used in tarot. And again, red, and when you see red, I want you to think fire and blood. Red rushes to us with messages of passion, primal urges, action, pleasure, vibrancy, radiance, and love. So when you see red in the tarot, that should be running through your mind. So while you're doing a reading in tarot, when you see the color red, or if that's what you're pulled to when you're reading, that's the energy, that's the vibration you should be feeling. And again, I tell people when I'm reading, it's the feel that I get when I'm pulling in the sitter and I'm looking at the cards, and I'm feeling what I'm feeling by mixing that energy of the card and the sitter and me. We're all blending together. And what am I feeling when I see that? And when I see red, I think fire, blood. Red rushes to us with messages of passion, primal urges, action, pleasure, vibrancy, radiance, and love. It can be both positive and or negative. So you have to think about that. Okay, think of both the positive side of that and the negative side of that. When you see the color orange, a nice subdued blend between the aggressive red and the high pitch of yellow. Orange is about harmony, aspiration, sociability, contentment, and intelligence. Though now everything I'm giving you are the positive aspects. Please remember there are also the reverse of these, or the negatives of what I'm telling you. Okay. Yellow, worshipped in the form of the sun. Yellow is about radiating creativity. It's also about protection. It's intellect, positivity, and clarity. So when you see yellow, think of sunlight, think of vibrational energy, think of those things when that yellow sticks out to you when you're looking at the cards and you're blending in what the meaning is along with the colors and the feel. It's telling you a story. It's giving you a feel. And that's how you're developing that, especially when you're doing intuitive tarot. You're really developing a feel as you're looking at the colors and you're looking at the numerology and the pictures, and you're just allowing the cards to tell you a story. Green is the fresh start of spring, brings oceans of green, and with it comes attributes of youth, sentimentality, nature, adventure, growth, and health. Green is also the color of nursing. Green is the color of good health. Green is nurturing. Green is value, brings value to things as well. Blue, look to the sky for the meanings of blue. Open spaces, freedom, imagination, expansiveness, inspiration, sensitivity. Depending on the shades of blue. Those give you depths. Think of depths. When you see shades of colors, think of depths. Because there'll be different shades in some of the colors as well. Indigo. It's similar to the attributes of blue, but indigo's energies runs very deep. Consider the unknown depths of the sea, along with the emotion, strength, fluidity, persuasiveness, expressiveness, and pervasiveness. Almost couldn't get that one out there. All right, let's see here. Gotta pop it up some. Violet. Violet, the hue of fragile flowers and sleepy sunsets. Violet reminds us of spirituality, communion, grandeur, high ideals, devotion, and peace. Brown. Anybody who has squished their toes through the rich, moist earth has got brown down its groundedness, earthiness, tangible, practical, stable, nurturing, and solid. Grays. When the fog rolls in and we're surrounded with the haze of gray, we understand its message of uncertainty, neutrality, mystery, intensity, and austerity. Black. Black is required for all other colors to have depth and variation of hue. It's a forceful feature and represents formality, dignity, force, convention, stability, and zero tolerance. White contemplates the brilliance of a new white snow and how it pulls a blanket of peace over everything it touches. White stands for peace, cleansing, illumination, purity, innocence, and the highest kind of understanding. And those are the basic colors that are used in the tarot cards. But again, every card has both positive and negative, and those meanings are blended with the feel that you are getting with, with those things are blended with the feel that you are getting when you're reading, and when you're focusing on that symbol. What is the color of that symbol? What are the colors around it? What is it making you feel? And I tell people, especially when you do, like I said, when you do an intuitive tarot, I definitely tell people to get that feel from it. So let's talk about the four elements in metaphysics and the esoteric. So fire is energy and action. It's passion, drive, and ambition. An active element, it can cause permanent change. It is expansive, can be aggressive, is proactive, and undeterred. Water is seen as the emotions. Let's go back to fire. Let's stay with fire for a minute. So what suit is for fire? So there are four suits. So in the minor, which we're going to be going into, the fire suit is the wands, and so it is energy and action. It's passion, driven, and ambition. An active element, it can permanent change. It's expansive, can be aggressive. It's proactive and undeterred. Water is the cups. It is seen as the emotions, your feelings, your intuition. Considered passive, water can be deep or shallow, like the ocean, or responsive to the moon. Your tears can rise and fall out of control. Your emotions flood. Air are the swords. Air is seen as the intellect, the logic, and the reasoning. An active element. Air circulates, so cleanses. It carries your thoughts and dreams. Is also expansive when hot and is said to be expressive. Your mind or thoughts can be seen as clear or clouded. Speech requires breath, which requires air. But also, just as it is expansive, when it's hot, when it's cold, it's restrict. It's firm. It can almost cut like a knife. Remember that, because I tell it to people all the time, especially when you're reading. You get that, like, so for some of the cards, the swords also predict surgeries. So you got to remember that too. And earth is the pentacles. And so earth is seen as the material, the physical and the sensual, a passive element. Earth allows growth and into actual production, promotes prosperity, is the foundation on which anything is built. It's about value. It is about value. And while we're talking about the different suits, let's talk a little bit about the aces, and the suits and the different suits, because all the aces are usually about beginnings. They are in the minor deck. The aces are usually about gifts from the heavens, or gifts or opportunities from the source. And so let's talk a little bit. The Ace of Wands, which is it's fire, is the creative energy, a new project or creative endeavors, a passionate union, a new start, willpower, drive, and ambition. Ace of Cups is love in its purest sense, its connection to the divine source. Psychism, intuition, feelings and emotions, mind, body, and spirit in union and abundance. The ace, and that is of emotions. Ace of Swords, which is air, represents the creative ideas, the sword of truth, gaining clarity, a brilliant idea, justice, mental strength. Ace of Pentacles, which is the coins or earth sign, represents the beginning stages of something tangible, prosperity, growth, material abundance, new enterprise, improving finances or wealth, a solid, fruitful foundation. So and these are opportunities, because many times what people need to understand is when reading tarot, when you get those aces, especially upside down, these are opportunities that are sometimes missed. It means like the opportunity is right there in front of your face, and sometimes you don't see it. Especially with the Ace of Cups. I mean, that's about new relationship. I tell women a lot of times, if you never leave the house, or you never go searching or I don't want to use the word search, if you never become aware of your surroundings, because I don't think you should search for romance, because then you always maybe look for something and you don't always know what you're looking for. So I always say, if you never are aware of your surroundings and are open to receiving love or receiving kindness, then you may never meet someone that deserves you. And so therefore, you should always be aware of those opportunities that are granted by the universe for you. Always be open to receive those. So that's something that I always stress to people, especially in a reading. So when we were doing the major arcana, I went through a lot of planetary stuff. Like each card had certain planets or constellations that that each card represented. Because sometimes it was a planet, but then sometimes it was a constellation, which is a group of stars that would have would have been what that card represents. So a little brief introduction to the astrology of tarot. So we'll start with the sun. The sun tells us of the actual core of a person, the inner self, of which is of central concern. It also shows us the general vitality and the ability to assert oneself. It describes a general tone of being which colors everything else. So a sign it's equivalent to is Leo. And again, here it tells you its diameter, it tells you the Earth's orbit for the sun, and then it tells you the Earth's, it's 365.25 days when this is written. The moon represents our feelings and emotions, the receptivity, imagination, and basic feeling tones of a person. It also has an effect of the sense of rhythm, time, and timing. It influences our ability to change our mobility and versatility. Its sign is equivalent to Cancer. Mercury represents reasonableness, which is common sense, that which is rational. It stands for the spoken and written word, putting things in order, weighing and evaluating, the process of learning and skills. Its sign equivalents to Gemini and Virgo. Now, Mercury's hot. It takes 88 days to go around the sun. Whew. Venus gives us a sense of beauty, the enjoyment of pleasure, aesthetic awareness, love of harmony, sociability, taking pleasure in relationships, and eroticism. The signs equivalent to Venus are Libra and Taurus. And then there's Mars. Mars represents the energy and drive of a person, their courage, determination, the freedom of spontaneous impulse. It also describes the readiness for action, the way one goes about doing things, as well as simple aggression. And its sign equivalent is Aries. Of course, everybody knew that. Jupiter, the search for individual meaning and purpose, optimism, hope, a sense of justice are represented by Jupiter. So all faith, a basic philosophy of life, the striving for spiritual growth and expansion. Its sign equivalence is Sagittarius. Saturn shows how we experience reality, where we meet with resistance and discover our limitations. It represents the conscious and moral conviction, the laws and rules which we choose to obey. It also tells us about our powers of endurance and the ability to concentrate. It lends qualities like earnestness, caution, and reserve. Its sign equivalent is Capricorn. Now, most people know in astrology there's a thing called Saturn return, and that is your karma year. Your karma year is when you go through a period of your Saturn return. And depending on what house it's in, it's where you usually learn your lessons in life. So that's really, really important. Then there's Uranus, which stands for intuition. It transmits sudden inspiration and enlightening insights, an openness for all that is new, unknown, and unusual. A sort of wrong-headed contrariness is also associated with this planet. It is said to be characteristic of astrology as such. Its equivalent is Aquarius. That is not surprising. Neptune, this planet gives us the supersensory. It opens doors to the mystical experience and the transcendental. On this level, it is hard to discern where perception moves into deception, illusion, and false appearances. And so Neptune is associated with all of these, with drugs of all kinds of pseudo realities. Its sign equivalent is Pisces. Pluto. Pluto describes how we deal with power and personal and non-personal, be it through suffering, the power of others, or exercising it ourselves. It describes how we meet the demonic and magical, our regenerative powers, and our capacity for radical change and rebirth, the cycles of dying and becoming. Its sign is equivalent to Scorpio. So that's a little bit of the astrology in tarot. And tonight I'm going to stop there, so I'll have some stuff to go over on the other nights. And so I just wanted to do a few things tonight for people. And again, here is the book, Tarot with Sid, the whole story. This is the book that you would get in class, which is a lot of the things that I'm going over with you verbally here online. And I'm working towards a master class. That's why I'm giving this class free online. Before, this was like a 7-day course, or a week long course, a few hours every night. And it was a lot. So I'm just taking my time, giving it to the because I want to move to a more advanced class. So if you want to learn how to read tarot, this is where you want to be. All right, folks. I want to thank you for joining me. I will talk to you later. Bye.